Why is it that every office has that guy? The one who sends 3 a.m. emails and then brags about how they only need 4 hours of sleep? If you can't think of anyone in your workplace, well, it might be you. But here's the real question. When did burnout become a badge of honor? And what is that really costing us? Not just in productivity, but in people. Let me ask you this. What if leadership wasn't about how much you could endure, but about how you protected your capacity to lead well? I'm not here to talk about stress management, checklists, or one-off wellness days. I'm here because I've lived the other side of high-performing leadership. I've lived the spiral, and I've rebuilt from it. So today, we're talking about something deeper, the hidden cost of leadership and why it's time to change, not just in productivity, but in people. There was a time when I thought being a great leader meant being everywhere for everyone all the time. I thrived in a busy university environment, student events, staff meetings, impromptu drop-ins. One of my favorite memories was coaching student speakers for commencement, helping them take their raw nerves and turn them into magic on stage. I thought I was thriving because the people around me were thriving. I was driving across the state, sitting on community advisory boards, advising campus leaders, and mentoring students all at once. And I genuinely loved it. The impact, the connection, the rhythm of purpose, it all lit me up. There's a deep joy that comes with helping others find their voice, watching transformation happen right in front of you. That was my fuel. But fuel can burn too. Behind the scenes, I was ignoring the basics: rest, stillness, space to breathe. I was too busy being the strong leader to recognize I was slowly burning out. And even though I was constantly reminding my teams to take care of themselves, I wasn't taking my own advice. I told myself I was thriving because they were, but that wasn't the full truth. Then one intense week, as we were emerging from COVID, something happened that completely caught me off guard. A peer, someone I trusted and respected, questioned my value and my leadership in front of others. It wasn't just a comment. It was a moment that pierced straight through everything I believed I had built. It felt like a betrayal, like I'd been stabbed, and not in the back, but in the front. No warning, no build up, just a direct hit. And it happened in front of a room full of people. It took the air out of me. I nodded and smiled, trying to keep my composure, but inside, I was unraveling. I walked out of that meeting shaken, embarrassed, and the first time in a long time, unsure of who I was. I kept replaying it over and over. Maybe they were right. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I wasn't doing a good job. It cracked something in me, something I didn't even realize was fragile. I started second guessing everything: my leadership, my credibility, even my presence. I tried to push it aside, but it kept resurfacing in subtle ways, hesitating in meetings, avoiding tough conversations, questioning whether my voice still mattered. And that's when the spiral began. That moment didn't create the crisis, but it pulled the thread on what had already been quietly unraveling. It gave shape to doubts I'd buried. It exposed how exhausted I was trying to hold it all together. It rattled me more than I wanted to admit. And then it happened. February, a few years ago. It's 3 a.m. Again. A peer, someone I deeply respected, made a comment that rattled me. They questioned my worth, my impact, and the value I was bringing to the table. And although it might have seemed just like another offhand remark, it landed differently. It struck a nerve that was already exposed. It amplified every doubt I've been carrying around silently. I'd always been that one person people turn to in a crisis, the problem solver, the fixer. But that night, found myself thinking maybe it would just be easier if I wasn't here anymore. It hit me like a Mack truck, completely out of nowhere, and it terrified me. It was the first time I had ever had a suicidal thought in my life. And I swore to myself right then it would be the last. I tried to shake it off, thought maybe I just needed a good workout, as I typically do every morning. Maybe I'd feel better after a few hours of sleep and then work out. But deep down, I knew this wasn't something I could push through. Not this time. I knew I had to do what I've always told others to do. I had to walk the talk. I needed help, and I needed help immediately. The next morning, I picked up the Zoom call, or really it was FaceTime. Through tears, I told a trusted colleague, I need help. It was the hardest call I've ever made. That led me to a 30-day executive mental health program. I stepped away from everything, my title, my responsibilities, the nonstop go, 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 and gave myself permission to heal. And while I was there, something clicked. That whole myth of work-life balance, it's just that, a myth. We chase it thinking we can just find the perfect ratio of emails to family dinners. We'll finally feel okay. But balance isn't the goal. Harmony is. Life, work, harmony. Life first, work in alignment with it. Harmony allows for movement, for flexibility. Some days work leads, other days life does. And that's okay. That's real. In that space, I finally looked at who I had become. And I asked myself, is this who I want to keep being? I realized I didn't want to go back. I couldn't. So I made the decision to retire from higher education and build something new, something that aligned with my values. I started telling the truth out loud, like here, because I knew someone else out there was silently suffering too, thinking they were the only one. In fact, I remember a moment midway through the program, sitting across from a clinician who looked me straight in the eye and said, "You're not here to fix anything. You're here to remember who you are." That hit me. I'd spent years building a professional identity, climbing, achieving, proving, and somewhere in that process, I stopped checking in on the man behind the role. Those 30 days weren't a break. They were a reckoning. They were a return to self. I didn't come out with a plan. I came out with clarity, and that changed everything. So how do we transform workplace culture with mental health-focused leadership? It starts with walking the talk. 3 things. Number 1, lead with transparency. According to the 2024 NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness Mental Health in the Workplace report, 80% of employees with mental health challenges say stigma prevents them from seeking help. Leaders must go first. Share your story. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's trust in action. When we open up, we give permission to others to do the same. It builds trust, loyalty, humanity. Number 2, model self-care. Stop glorifying burnout. Normalize mental health days. Set boundaries. Gen Z and millennials expect this from their employers. They want to know, do your values show up in your policies? If you're not modeling this, if your team sees you sacrificing your health for success, then they'll think they have to do the same. And they'll either burn out or leave. This generation isn't afraid to walk away. Number 3, create psychological safety. Fear silences teams. Psychological safety unlocks innovation, retention, and well being. This isn't a feel good concept, it's a strategic imperative. When people feel safe to speak up, they bring their best ideas, their whole selves, and your culture becomes not just productive, but powerful. And here's the truth: these aren't extras, these are the fundamentals of sustainable leadership. If we can't create environments where people feel safe and seen, we will continue to lose talent, connection, and ultimately the impact we're all trying to make. Faith has also been a cornerstone of my journey, a reminder that grace doesn't demand perfection, just presence. It gave me the courage to believe that my struggles had meaning and that I wasn't alone. Faith also reminded me that healing is messy, growth is rarely linear, and real leadership starts in the quiet, vulnerable places most people don't see. Leadership isn't about having the answers. It's about the humility to admit when you don't. Vulnerability has become my greatest leadership tool. As Charlie McKeesey writes in his book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, asking for help isn't giving up. It's refusing to give up. That's what the journey is. It's not weakness. It's power, presence, and choosing to lead forward differently. So what does this mean for you? Imagine a workplace where people feel safe to say, I'm struggling, without fear, where leadership models transparency, not toughness, where life-work harmony isn't a perk, but a core value, where mental health is just part of the culture, like accountability and results. This isn't just about policy. This is about people, families, communities, futures. If you lead, serve, or inspire others, this is your moment. Ask yourself, what kind of culture am I creating or allowing it? Mental health isn't just a personal issue, it's a leadership responsibility. Here's what I challenge you to do. 3 things. Number 1, start one honest conversation, not surface level, honest, real. Number 2, take one real action. Block a mental health day, shift a meeting, set a boundary. Number 3, be one brave example. Say out loud what others are afraid to. You just might save a life. This isn't a trend, it's a movement. Mental health is leadership, period. So whether you're in a boardroom, a nonprofit, a school district, or running your own business, your people are watching. They want to know, do you care? Can I be human here? Will you walk the talk? And if you're thinking, what if I don't act? Let me tell you, we risk more quiet quitting, more resignations with no feedback, more burnout disguised as productivity. And sometimes we risk never seeing the pain someone's carrying until it's too late, until that person is gone. Inaction has a cost, and too many of us are paying it in silence, in turnover, in lost trust. And if you're ready to do the work, I'm here. Let's design cultures that put people first without apology. Life-work harmony isn't about doing more. It's about aligning who you are with how you lead. Let's stop pretending we have to do it all. Let's start leading with the courage to be human. I never want to see another leader staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering if they still matter, if they still belong, or worse, if the world would be better without them. We can change that. We must change that. Together, we can change leadership, one conversation at a time. Thank you.